Hello friends, welcome back to Mothership. Today we are smoking up a picanha just like a brisket, low and slow. Then we are getting some dough together and making these absolutely beautiful looking, fluffy barbecue dumplings. Let's get started. This is a beef sirloin cap, also known as the picanha. This is about a 3-pounder, which is pretty standard from what I seem to find. Let's get it out of the cryo back and see what we're working with here. This is a really nice cut right here. Here's our big fat cap. You know, I probably could pull off a little bit of this. Just a smidge. Not really necessary though. I know this is sacrilegious for a lot of people that like to cut these into steaks, and they are amazing, just cooked as a nice medium rare steak. But we are doing this low and slow, so I want to have a little bit more even. This is great fat if you want to hold on to it. Use it for making burgers or whatever. But for these cuts, what I usually like to do, guys, I like to cut kind of a cross stitch. The goal here is to just cut through the fat, don't cut through the meat. That should allow a little bit better even cooking. Like that. Don't do what I just did right there. That's not great. All right. Perfect. Now that we've got everything trimmed up, nothing needs to be done on this side. First thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to get some salt on this sucker. It's about 3 pounds, so my usual ratio is about a half a teaspoon per pound of trimmed meat. There's a lot of fat on here. You could go less, but I think this should be fine. This should give me as much salt on here as I want. Get a nice salinity. There's not really any point putting salt onto the fat side. Even though we did cut some scores in there, I don't think the salt is really going to absorb. And even if it did, we're probably not going to be eating those huge pieces of fat. Those will probably get cut off when we actually go to slice it and put it into our buns, or if you're just not doing the buns part, you're not going to be eating the fat anyway. So focus on the meat side. It's just going to take a little bit longer to absorb and go all the way through the meat. But get it on there. And then we're going to throw this into our fridge on a wire rack and let it sit until all of this salt has been absorbed. Salt has had time to absorb, so let's get some other seasoning on here. I'm just going to flip her over. I'm going to hit it with some garlic powder and some black pepper. Starting with the fat side here. Then we're going to flip it over. And now we're going to do the same thing, focusing on the meat side. And get the sides as well. All right, and this is good to go. Now what we need to do is get the kettle up and running, toss this on, and let it cook low and slow for a while before we even begin to think about anything else. But right now, that kettle's got to get nice and hot. And it is nasty for being this time of year in New England. Everything is dirty and gross. So I apologize in advance of how nasty it's going to look. But kettle's going to get nice and hot. I'm going to get out there, toss it on, and move ahead with smoking this sucker. We're up to temperature. I think I'm going to just let it run as it is, just like usual, for about a couple hours. I'm using post oak here, running at about 225. That's my goal. But I'm just going to try and get a whole bunch of smoke on here and just let it do its thing. About 4 hours in, we have internal temperature of about 165. At the stall, you know, you absolutely could wrap this like you would any other brisket. I got plenty of time, so I'm probably just going to run right through it, let it keep going. Looks good to me. Everything's still nice and moist. No need to spritz or anything. Bark isn't completely set yet, so I'm just going to keep doing my thing. Target temperature 225, 250. You know the drill. Let it keep doing its thing, and at some point we'll start thinking about actually making up those buns. Okay, about 7 hours in, and I'd say this is done. We're probing about 198 degrees. Most importantly, though, sticking a probe into it, everything feels just like butter. This is done. So this little meteorite, I'm going to take it inside. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to let it rest. Just like all smoked meats, guys, I want to let it rest for a while before we dig in. Now, as far as the buns go, I've already started putting together the dough. That part's easy. I'll have a link somewhere down below on the instructions on how to put together the dough. But right now, it's just sitting and rising at the moment. Once that's done, we'll come back. We'll chop this up. We will assemble our little dumplings, and we'll go ahead and cook them and see how we did. Right now, inside, wrap it up, let it rest. All right, about an hour resting, and I'd say this is probably ready to go. So what I want to do now, at this point, if you're just following along for this piece of the recipe, you absolutely can just cut off your pieces and eat it like a brisket, and it'll be fantastic. Excuse me. Oh, that was a horrible cut. Sorry. My goodness. I take a break from YouTube because of the weather, and I come back and I can't even cut a piece of meat. But I'd say that looks pretty darn good to me. Look at that. Amazing smoke ring on there. Since we're cooking it, we should cut a piece and see how we did before we move on with this. But if you're following along with the whole recipe, what we want to do is we want to chop this up. We're going to toss it into a pot here. I'm going to pull this fat cap off, save as much of the meat as possible, but we're not going to eat the fat here. Keep chopping it. All right, now that's all chopped up. Let's get this out of the way. And here is our bowl of picanha, low and slow like a brisket. Beautiful smoke ring in there. Very smoky flavor, delicious. Now for our dumplings, you could absolutely just put them in like this, but I want a little bit of extra Asian flavor. So I'm going to take some hoisin sauce. And I'm not measuring, I'm honestly just pouring a little bit on top there. I'm taking a splash of fish sauce. All this you can find at your grocery store. And lastly, just a little bit of lime juice. And this is just pure lime juice, not from concentrate. Mix that all up. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more hoisin sauce. The taste test to make sure all the flavors are where we want them. Perfect. All right, now this can get set aside. And it's time to make those pesky little dumplings. Here's our dough. Now I want these to be about 50 grams worth. So I'm just gonna guess here and toss it onto my scale. Not quite 37. Add a bit more. Perfect, it's about 50. So for each one, my goal here, first I'm gonna put it into a little ball. Then I'm going to flatten it a bit. And then what I want to do is I want to roll inward. Because I want the center to be thicker than the exterior here. If that makes sense. Basically I want like 2 concentric circles, even though I know this one is not very circular. My goal is to have this center section be thicker than the part on the outside. That way when I roll it up, there's a nice firm base in there. But I don't need them to be perfect because they are going to just be covered up, so I don't really care that much. But something like that, thinking about like a ratio of maybe 2 to 1, so the height on the outer circle to be about half of the height of this inner circle here, which I think that's probably about right there. And then what I'm going to do for each of them, I'm going to take a nice little spoonful of meat here, something like so, put it right in the middle. And then I'm going to fold it up. Now the professional looking ones, they do this fancy method where they kind of twist it like an accordion. I'm not doing that. I'm going to just roll it up into a nice little container like so. Something like that. Twist it a little bit so it holds together. Flip it over, and I'm going to put it on like that. So I'm not going to have them sit upright because they'll probably open up because I'm not great at this, but I'm going to steam them just like so. Now this is going to go onto a parchment paper, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do all of them. And then I'm going to put them in my steamer and steam them. But let's get them all put together, then I'll talk about how we want to actually steam them. Finish this up, then we can get a taste test and see how we did. But right now I'm going to finish all of this dough and make all these little dumplings. Okay, all of these dumplings have been assembled. Honestly, it's a lot easier to do them when your hands are nice and dry. So that's a pro tip. Make sure your hands are super dry when you do them. That way they do actually hold together. But I let them rest for about 15 minutes after we put them together, which means now we're ready to steam them. And I'm going to use a bamboo steamer. Now, do you need a bamboo steamer? No. If you're going to be doing stuff like this, I recommend it. They're really cheap. You can get them for like 15 bucks on Amazon. Highly recommend it. If you don't have a steamer, you could probably use a microwave safe plate, put a damp paper towel on top of them, microwave them. That should get you there. But this is the best way to do it, the correct way. And like I said, they're super cheap. So if you just plan ahead and get one on Amazon for super cheap, you're good to go. And they last forever. I have a little bit of just like linen. I bought like a big sheet of linen, cut them into little squares or circles. That way I can water that down so it has a nice place to sit on, enough to clean off the bamboo as much. You could also use like a parchment paper cut into a circle. Then you don't have as much airflow, excuse me. I recommend the linen sheet thing. Again, Amazon, cheap. I'll link all that stuff down below. But what we want to do now is we want to get these. We want to put them into our steamer. I'm going to try and get maybe an inch of clearance between them, because they are going to expand. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get all of them on here, but we will try. This recipe, if you're wondering, yielded 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of these suckers. So if you, and we didn't finish all of our meat. That was about a 3-pound piece of meat. So if you're, we probably could have done maybe 1.5 times this recipe, if you're curious, for a 3-pound cut of picanha. But I'm going to get all these onto here. All right, I think that should be good. Now, the game plan here, I'm going to stack them up, and I'm going to take a pan. I'm going to fill it with cold water. I'm going to put it on really hot, stick these on there. When this gets to boiling, I'm going to wait about 15 minutes. That should steam it completely. Then I'm going to turn off the stovetop and let these sit for another 10 minutes or so. That just allows everything to relax, come back together, and then they're ready to go. So this is going to go into cold water on the stovetop in a pan. This is going to be on at high heat when it gets to boiling. Then I'm going to just sit, let them rest for 15 minutes, cooking it at the boiling temperature. Then I'm going to turn off the stove and just let them sit for 5 to 10 minutes. Then we'll come back and see how we did. After a nice 10-minute rest, when they're done cooking, these are ready to go. As you can see, looking from the side, they are nice and fluffy. It's that bao bun style, but in a dumpling form, so they're very fluffy. They're not kind of those thin-walled dumplings you get sometimes from like a Chinese restaurant. These are the nice fluffy ones. They smell fantastic, and I'm excited. I mean, this has been a long cook today. Let's give it the old-fashioned taste test and see how we did. You can't beat that. The meat is absolutely fantastic. The buns are nice and fluffy. They're delicious. This is the same recipe I've used for years now. I will have all that in the link down below, as well as the bamboo steamer and all the other stuff that I'm using here. Adding in that hoisin sauce, that lemon, that little bit of fish sauce. And then we also actually used a little bit of soy sauce. You don't need to do that if you want to hold back on the salt. But for us, a little bit extra sodium worked. And these are just fantastic. These are really, really good, guys. Some more dipping sauce, some more hoisin sauce would probably work really well here. Teriyaki sauce, anything like that would be a really good, or just straight up barbecue sauce. And then the fun thing with this is once you know how to make these dumplings here, you know, there's so many different options you could do. I would love to try these again with maybe some sauteed onions in there, some vegetables, different meats, but you can really do all kinds of different stuff. It's really not that difficult. You're basically just making the dough, getting whatever meat you want, putting them together, steaming them up. And on the other side, you have these delicious suckers, and it's not a lot of work. But I would love to hear from you guys down below. Have you ever made something like this before? What are your thoughts? Do you love fusing barbecue and some Asian food together? That's kind of my favorite thing. I'd love to hear from you guys what your thoughts are, and if you make these, let me know what you think down below. But most importantly, guys, get out there and cook something absolutely fantastic, and I'll catch you on the next UFO barbecue. Bye-bye.